is an especially virulent disease. This is what the virus looks like. When it enters the body, it courses through the bloodstream, hijacking the victim's own cells to reproduce as fast as it can. Then its progeny rampage on, damaging cells and replicating in ever greater numbers. It infects the endothelial cells that line blood vessels, and the patient starts bleeding on the inside.
Ebola is, the symptoms are like every other thing in the beginning. There's nothing special that jumps out that says this is Ebola versus malaria versus typhoid versus rickettsia. It's all looks the same. Versus flu, right? Fevers, aches and pains, feeling unwell, malaise, just blah. And it can go on like that for a few days, and then it starts to get worse with your blood pressure dropping, etc. But you would pick it up long before you ever got to the more serious symptoms.
So the fever is by far the early warning detection?
Yes, that's right. As it is with malaria and everything else, which is the problem, right? When you develop symptoms, you already have increasing viral titers in your blood, so theoretically you're infectious from the time your symptoms started. It looks like the viral titers and symptoms are very closely linked with Ebola virus, as opposed to some other viruses where you could be infectious before the onset of symptoms. Like chickenpox is the best example, where you can be infectious for 2 days before you get a rash.
This video is just to clarify and explain how it is transmitted. Ebola is transmitted through direct contact with the blood or bodily fluids of an infected symptomatic person or through exposure to objects such as needles that have been contaminated with infected secretions. Can Ebola be transmitted through the air? No. Ebola is not a respiratory disease like the flu, so it is not transmitted through the air. Can somebody get Ebola from contaminated food or water? No. Ebola is not a foodborne illness. It is not a waterborne illness too. Can somebody get Ebola from a person who is infected but doesn't have any symptoms? No. Individuals who are not symptomatic are not contagious. In order for the virus to be transmitted, an individual would have to have direct contact with an individual who is experiencing symptoms. Subscribe to this page for more videos.
Of Ebola infections diagnosed in the U.S. and other countries. Here are 5 tips on how to protect yourself. Number 1, avoid non-essential travel to infected areas. Number 2, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer and wash hands frequently. Number 3, avoid contact with blood and body fluids of someone who is sick. Number 4, do not touch bats and non-human primates such as monkeys, and do not touch or eat raw meat prepared from these animals. Number 5, seek medical care immediately if you develop fever or unexplained bruising or bleeding. Limit your contact with other people until and when you go to the doctor. While the Ebola development is a concern, do not panic. Our healthcare system has the training, know-how, technology, and hospital space to contain this virus. Thank you.